Hello. Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me and just about see me. Welcome to April and that. We're hoping to get Marty in here. He's crying for treats but doesn't realise they're here. He needs to come in here for treats, right? We're not having no staying downstairs and getting some treats. Hi, everyone. Hey, Matt. What then play? Hans, Kieran. Hi. Hopefully I'm coming through okay. Oh, is that why Marty was smaller? So we could have the chat. Okay, I was wondering why the Marty cam was small when I got here. It's because we got the chat here, haven't we? Ah, I remember now. I made this. It's been a month. I've forgotten things. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our whole new month. Let's talk about a few things that happened last month and things that will come this month. The anniversary, right? Towards the end of this month. It'll be 6 years, shockingly, of doing this. Oh, look how badly I've put this cap on. You can see my hair poking through and stuff. So yes. Oh yeah, thanks for the Patreon bot. Thanks to Patreon bot as well. Patreon.com/slickerdrips. I can't quite point to it, can I? Well, I can't even point to the right direction, apparently. If you'd like to help support the channel, it's the perfect time to do it because there's going to be a playthrough vote right after this stream. And you can vote for some of the things that are going to be happening this month. And generally, it keeps everything going. It's basically, yeah, the whole reason that this still exists and that I'm able to do it is thanks to all of your support. So thank you very much to everyone that helps out on that. And if you don't want to go on Patreon, then Ko-fi is here as well. I can kind of point to that, almost. I know how mirrored images work. So, yes, that's those things. And then, thank you. I'm glad you like the cap. First order of business that I need to mention from time to time, right? I forget. I'm so excited by the things. SirMeeple.com, if you're interested in merch of any kind. Am I supposed to have this lower? I don't really know. I don't generally wear caps. And I don't... I've never had a... what are they called? Snapback cap? I've never had one before. I don't know. It's got Marty on it. That's all I really care about. So yes, there is the stuff that has been on there in previous months. Some fantastic shirts. Oh, look at those colours. Oh, my mouse is doing that. Had the Rockets Away Marty shirt, the other Space Marty shirt, the Showtime Marty shirt. Oh, I'm a bit too high up on there. I'm looking at the actual window that's not too high. The Sheriff Marty, of course. There's a hoodie. And there is a mug that I'm very wary is really full of drink, and I'm just showing you his legs there, but I'm left-handed and that mug's really full. But now, brand new, so I was thinking about getting a cap, and so I asked Tim at Sir Meeple, is it possible for us to make a cap? And he was already kind of well on the way to making this. So yeah, you can grab yourself a Space Marty cap, should you be interested in a Space Marty cap. Right, that is my merch plug. So yeah, SirMeeple.com, if you'd like any of that stuff. And it's, a lot of the money goes towards the people that actually make the things, but it does support the channel and Tim at Sir Meeple as well for actually doing the designs that go on the things. So yeah, if you like them and want one, they're there. All right, I'll take this off now because it's shadowing my face. I need a light there, don't I? To wear a cap. Hey, it's kind of flattened out my hair, which is an almost impossible feat. My hair just wants to go straight up. 6 years, I'll look shockingly older, but yeah, I probably didn't look very old in the first place. Here, Marty. Come on, go on the Marty cam for everyone. There's some treats. Now stay on there, please. Percentage goes to cat treats. A surprising amount, I'd say. Although we try and limit it because Marty doesn't seem to get full. I think he would just eat forever. I need a hats command for the bot. Oh yeah, there's a merch command, thanks. Yeah, SirMeeple.com. The link in the chat now will take you to all of the stuff. Hi Nicola, how's it going? Hi Zhanguo. Right, so Marty is leaving us, but I think he'll find that most of the doors to the rest of the house have been shut, and if he wants somewhere comfortable to go, he's going to have to get on. He's going to have to get on camera and earn his keep. So yes, What should I talk about? Let's talk about the month that's just happened. I get my notes. My notes here, hastily written on. I forgot to take any paper or my phone downstairs, so it's written on a bit of tissue, the games that are downstairs. Right, let's look at March, isn't it? This slideshow is permanently called April from the first month that I did it, which is ages and ages ago. Well, I don't have the shortcut to advance the picture. He's meowing now out on the landing for some more food, and he's not getting it. You're going to have to come on camera for roughly an hour, and you can have some more treats, Marty, I promise. Right, so yes, April is coming up. March is a month that happened where playthroughs occurred as well. So yeah, there's a lot of live things, but a lot of them got edited as well. So Tapestry, Arts and Architecture, this solo playthrough with both of the expansions in Tapestry now. There's a new track to go up. There's new cards, there's new structures, all sorts of new stuff. You can see me play that. There is actually a link to the original live stream if you would like to watch it that way, but I have also edited down some of these playthroughs so you can see the Tapestry solo playthrough in its edited form as well. If you would prefer it a bit snappier, let me try and get the actual keyboard shortcut. Usually I've got this wired up to the buttons. There we go. Aeon's End Into the Wild. We did a whole campaign of that, Rach and I, and yeah, Chapter 4 is the last part of that. You can see the entire thing, and they were edited as well, I think. 1862, maybe the heaviest game in quite a while anyway, that I've had on the channel. I just about get through a game of it. It's about 4.5 hours, I think, but that's pretty good going by 1862 standards. I think it's an 18xx game. It's a really heavy train and shares and stocks and all of this business kind of game, and I didn't completely get it all wrong. There's, strategy-wise, there's big bits I missed. There's a lot going on in this, but hopefully it's roughly a good representation of what the game's like, particularly if, like me, you're coming from the perspective of you've never played an 18xx game before, because I hadn't before this. So you can see me wander my way through Norwich and the surrounding area by trying to make some railway companies. I should just leave my fingers on the keyboard so I don't have to look all the time. In March, things happened. Time passed and things happened. You can't say fairer than that. Hamlet, which actually just finished on Kickstarter, so I'm a bit late with this, but you can probably late pledge. Mighty Boards and designer David Cherkoff, who you might know from co-designing things like Pursuit of Happiness and designing things like Petrichor. This is a city builder, a town builder with a difference. All these strangely shaped pieces, and you are trying to kind of get not trade routes, but you're trying to get kind of transport routes to move the goods where they need to be to the places that convert goods, and also to build new structures. You have these donkeys that will help you move your goods further. You can see my overview of that anyway. I won't go into the big things. Aeon's End Legacy of Gravehold. We had high hopes. I love Aeon's End. It's one of my favourite co-op games. The original Legacy had some ups, had some downs. Generally, I think I enjoyed it. I don't know if I should spoil it here. You can see Game 1 in an edited form. There's an edited version of Game 1 anyway, but spoilers in anything kind of Legacy related. Although there's a lot in Legacy of Gravehold that I imagine would be different in your game, even if you were to get this and then play it yourself. But yeah, you can see our first 2 games of the campaign, and currently that's going to be the whole campaign for us. Things may get different. We may have a change of heart later on. It's still on a shelf somewhere, but we did not, unfortunately, have a great time at all with our first 2 chapters of Legacy of Gravehold. The streams are there, so you can see why. But yeah, incredibly harsh for us 2 players anyway. Clinic is a game I hadn't played for a long, long time, and so many expansions and things have come out for this. A heavy kind of 3D spatial builder, but it's also a hospital management game by Alban Viard. It's I loved the old version in its pizza box with handmade with cut up cardboard bits. The deluxe edition was fantastic. I only have had a prototype of it before. Got the final thing, and since this did so well in last month's votes, is it last month's? Is that recent? I got hold of the expansions, the campaign book, which kind of arranges certain modules from expansions into a story and kind of things that gel with each other. And yeah, I did the first chapter of the expert campaign in Clinic. So you can check that out if you would like. I think Marty is I'm wary of him scratching carpet to try and get into a room, rather than just, come here, Marty. Come in here. Everyone wants to see you. There's no food coming. I've got his brush. But it would be much better, of course, if he was on camera getting brushed. Come on, Marty. I know you can't read it, but people would like you on camera rather than on the floor begging. Yeah, Clinic. You can see a solo playthrough of that, which is also... I should get my notepad up, actually. I wrote down which ones are edited. Yes, Clinic is also in edited form as well as the full live stream. The return of recorded and edited playthroughs alongside the live ones. I never intended that they would stop, but actually, it's been a nice break. I'm kind of enjoying going back to... Well, not going back to... I've enjoyed bringing back some edited ones, and I wasn't going to bring back the first impressions as well. Like, I was a bit fed up of the opinion videos a few months ago, and now I've been enjoying doing them as well. So you can see a playthrough, my opinions of the expansion to Paladins of the West Kingdom City of Crowns. Basically, I loved the original game, and the expansion is more of it, so why wouldn't you love it? Architects and its expansion are on the way. I think it's on boats. It's quite close to that being delivered to backers, and I backed that, so that should be coming up at some point in the near future. And teaser for talking about April, the Wayfarers of the South Tigris. That'll be coming up in April. I'm really, really excited. I haven't got it yet, but very excited to be playing that. Yeah, see some Paladins. Manhattan Project Energy Empire, I haven't played for years and years. I remembered it being a fantastic solo game. Really wanted to get back to it and check that my memory wasn't faulty. It wasn't. It's absolutely fantastic still. You can see it live, and I edited it as well. If you'd like it in a shorter version, it's absolutely fantastic. Really, really great engine builder, and an expansion was made and delayed for grave reasons, but yeah, that's finally on the way now, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what is going to be added to it, because just revisiting the base game, it's absolutely glorious. Manhattan Project Energy Empire, and very different as well. Like, aesthetically, it's similar to Manhattan Project, but if you've played the other Manhattan Project games, not that I've played number 2, I've played the original Manhattan Project, it's very different. It's still worker placement and stuff, but very different game apart from that. Chronicles of Crime 2400. Rach joined me. We played through the tutorial and the first real chapter of the game. This is a detective game, basically a story detective game told through an app that you need. An app scans cards to take you to locations, quiz people, present evidence. You look through your phone at a crime scene kind of in 3D space, and you can use 3D glasses with it as well if you'd like to look around the crime scene and gather that evidence. Yeah, it's a fantastic game, and a year or two ago, it's got a series of standalone games, the Century series. I did a video for 1400 back when that was on. There was 1900 as well that we didn't actually get, but that's missing from our timeline of it. 2400 though is, as you can imagine, futuristic, cyberpunky. You can get upgrades and stuff for your detective. You can see it in action in the playthrough. You can just watch the tutorial if you don't really want to be spoiled on stuff. Where you can see Rach and I doing some detective work in that. Then Taverns of Tiefenthal Open Doors, this non-live recorded playthrough for the expansion to Taverns of Tiefenthal. More modules, more options, more greatness, and the maybe long-awaited, hopefully long-awaited return of Little Glass Marty. I don't know how long he was out, but he was just relaxing watching me do solo videos for a while actual Marty still on that landing, begging. Yeah, Taverns of Tiefenthal Open Doors. Then, the last playthrough of March, Hadrian's Wall Fort 7, keeping up with one a month, and making pretty good progress, I think. Like, was a little bit worried about this one. The goal was to do all of the temples and other requirements and restrictions. Yeah, I never really do temples, but managed it. Well, yeah, I'm kind of spoiling it if you haven't seen it. I managed it. You'll see how. You might be surprised because it didn't look like I was going to manage it. Yes, I think that is the end of what happened in March. So yeah, you can see all of that stuff. And I will, when I finish the stream, I'll put in the description links to all of the playthroughs, but you can see them all on the channel now if you would like to. So, April, I mentioned, it is the coming up to the 6th anniversary of the channel. So yeah, even more incentive to, if you've been thinking about it, but haven't taken the plunge yet, why not visit patreon.com. I will get lessons in mirror imaging with your support on patreon.com/slickerdrips. Let's do great things. We're coming up to 200, just about, patrons. We're at 173 now. Thanks, William and Deborah. They're the most recent patrons. I'm pointing at the actual monitor rather than imagining where things are on the camera. What is I've got to be worrying now about what Marty is currently kicking over. He can't get to very many things, but he's kicking something over. I think there's a big bag of, you know, like the packing paper on the landing, and I think he's just in that bag making as much noise as he can. Right, yes, so it's going to be the anniversary. We're going to do some good stuff in that. It's around the last week of April, so we're going to do some good streams. We're going to do some good extra stuff, I think, for that last week. Hopefully there'll be at least one stream with Rach in it. It depends on holidays and stuff, because the holidays are actually like next week, I think, the school holidays where we are. But yes, there'll be more on that later on in the month, and as well as the vote, because the vote basically, rather than being new games, that there will still be playthroughs of new games, I thought it would be fun to go back and look through some of those old playthroughs. I went back, you know, over the kind of last year or so. It's kind of the first anniversary of doing live streams as well. I only started at like the end of March last year. So some games I revisited last year. It was quite fun, actually. I did it early on, going through the geek list on Board Game Geek of all of the playthroughs, and just going back to ones that I still enjoy, haven't played for ages, definitely haven't done a video of for ages. So the vote is going to have those games in it, as well as some kind of stone cold classics that have stuck around on our shelves for years and years, but have never gotten playthroughs. So hopefully that appeals to you. But if you are only in it for the new games, they're not going to be in the vote, but they are going to be coming as well. Of course, you know, I can only do 8-10 playthroughs a month. Maybe there was more than that in that video. I try and do more. But amongst the things that will come up from the vote, the going back to games, there will be new things like, arrived today actually, haven't even opened the box yet, Isle of Cats expansions, and the roll and write version of Isle of Cats called Explore and Draw, a 2-player only version of Cryptid Urban Legends that hopefully Rach and I will be streaming, Stardew Valley, the brand new co-op based on the video game. Rach and I will be playing that on Friday on stream. Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Scrawlers, a real-time kind of drawing game, and one of the designers is Vangelis Bagotakis, who designs great games usually for Artipia, although he's done a lot beside that as well. I would like to, I feel worried about how long I've been waiting now, although they have kind of come up on votes before. I know that Free Ride and Watch kind of stay in my head that they haven't had playthroughs yet, and I really want to try and get to them, although I am trying to get to Mystic Vale Nemesis this week. There's going to be some kind of play-along thing I want to do in that anniversary week towards the end of the month. I thought like you could, like that roll and write day that I've been kind of on about, a big roll and write stream where we do a few different games. Definitely do that in the anniversary week, I'm thinking. And some kind of play-along game. I haven't really done that for about a year. Wasn't that for anniversary week last year where we played Quacks of Quedlinburg together? Me versus the people watching. We could do something like Can't Stop. We could do a bigger game. Yeah, any ideas you've got on play-along things, other than rolling rights, they're given. They will happen. And also, Kickstarters, stroke game founds, you know, crowdfunding games that I'll be doing videos for in April. Autobahn, which you can watch now on Patreon. That's up early. Flip Town, great new roll and write from Stephen Aramini, who designed Sprawlopolis and Eternal Palace and many great games. I need to edit that, but when that'll go up early on Patreon as well. That's going on Kickstarter later on in the month. It's a fantastic roll and write game, Wild West themed, as you might imagine. I've mentioned Wayfarers of the South Tigris. Nightmare Cathedral just arrived. I'll be doing an overview for that. I'd like to be doing a solo playthrough. I don't know if that's going to happen, but there'll definitely be an overview made pronto, and I think this is actually going to be in May, but as a teaser, Euthia is getting an expansion. And yeah, whenever that happens, I'll be doing a new playthrough with a special scenario with new stuff for Euthia. So that's stuff apart from the vote. That's new stuff I'm hoping to do, which already that would kind of be a whole full month if I hadn't, if I'm not doing anything from the votes. But I'm going to try and, let's try and cram as much in as possible, right? So how do I get the browser up again? There it is. Right, let me get these up on the screen. So this will be going up on Patreon. Everyone at voter level or higher on Patreon after this stream, and the vote will stay open for the whole month, of course. But I will write this post and make it when the live stream has finished. For yeah, revisiting old games and maybe giving games a chance that's never got a playthrough. This is the Castles of Burgundy. We might not see much from the picture, actually. It's the Castles of Burgundy, the card game. So yeah, I have done the whole Castles of Burgundy family, and Tuscany as well. That's part of the family, right? Over the course of the channel. But Castles of Burgundy, the card game, it's solo mode. This is playthrough number 1. You can go right back to the nervous days of just putting a video on the internet, just by myself. Yes, Castles of Burgundy, the card game. Would you like to see it again? Shall we see if it still holds up? I don't know when I last played this, so let's make it now. Let's make now the last time I played it. So that's playthrough number 1. And playthrough number 2, I mentioned this when someone was talking about favourite roll and writes I think that was on Friday's stream. One of my favourites, if not my favourite, this keeps coming up to the front of my mind, is OctoDice, playthrough number 2. I don't know if this would be like a video on its own. Maybe we'd fold this up into another roll and write thing, because this was a solo video as well. This is video number 2 I did. It's designed by Chris Toussaint, and it's kind of a spin-off game of Stefan Feld's Aquasphere. Uses the same kind of theming, but it's an absolutely fantastic roll and write game. The Networks Executives. The Networks was the 6th playthrough I ever did. Picked up my backed copy at the UK Games Expo, whenever that was, 2016. Yikes. Ages ago. And I did a video for the prototype. I printed it all off on my printer for the expansion Executives. I've never done a kind of proper playthrough for it. Would you like to see the Networks come back and we could do a proper, solo playthrough using the Executives expansion? I'd really like that, because the Networks is fantastic. If you're interested. Networks was playthrough 6. Executives was playthrough 119. I like these kind of stats. Project Elite, so I wondered about this. I'll put it in the votes. I don't know how much interest it will get, because I already did. Is it 3 or 4 playthroughs for this? Because I didn't realise there was kind of stuff happening. I'll take Sir Meeple off. I'm talking about other things. It's just be up there the entire time. Yeah, I picked this up at the UK Games Expo that year, because it was just up for sale. I didn't realise that the Kickstarter had been held back and stuff, so like... I was kind of out there doing videos when copies weren't really available. And I just bought one at the expo. Still regretting not buying the entire pack, because I've still never had the expansion. I did get the new version that Cool Mini or Not did, and kind of thought there were some things we didn't really like about it. And ultimately, I think the feeling was our old version is like still good enough. Like I didn't feel enough need to keep the upgrade. But basically, I haven't said anything about what the game is if you don't know. It's real-time... Mossy's just knocked over something fragile sounding. This is his big protest. This is what he gets for making my screen empty, for having this big section of screen real estate empty because he doesn't want to be on here. Yes, it's real time, escape Curse of the Temple style. Roll the dice as many times as you can, trying to get the results you want. Moving around, shooting aliens, trying to achieve your objectives. But there is, of course, a bad face on all of the dice, so constantly rolling them isn't just a walk in the park. The die face that will move the aliens towards their objective. It's absolutely fantastic. That's playthrough number 7. But I think I did like 3 or 4 playthroughs because people kept asking for them, and I was glad to be doing them. It was hard. Like, this is all back in the days as well of... I think not for the first couple. I had a rubbish Poundland tripod with my phone on it. But at the point I got a camera to do playthroughs, which I think I was doing it for Project Elite, it was kind of handheld, and doing a game like a real-time constant dice chucker like Project Elite, it's a bit tough. It should be a bit easier from up above if we go back to it. Oh yeah, don't forget to eat Easter eggs. I'm hoping for an enormous Kinder egg. Probably the only time I ever have Kinder eggs. 60th Euro anniversary. Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to some more Isle of Cats. Subdivision. I think, was this in my like top 10 kind of underrated, overlooked games? This is, you know, thematically adjacent to Suburbia from Bezier Games. Different designer. It's Lucas Hegren. And, you know, thematically, we are planners that are designing a single hex of the game Suburbia. But it is a really interesting and different puzzle game. A fantastic solo game as well. Multiplayer works great too. Yeah, I think I did a how to play for this as well when I was experimenting with that. This is playthrough number 8. I'd really love to go back to Subdivision. Again, I can't remember the last time. Some of these... Subdivision might actually be the last time that I played it was when I made the playthrough for it, which is terrifying given how time has just skipped by. But I've still got it, still got great memories of it. And yeah, I assume it's still about. I think it always deserves a bit more attention. The Pursuit of Happiness. I mentioned this, didn't I? It's got David Cherkov and Vangelis that's both come up earlier in the video. It's Euro Game of Life. What if we had a game that was thematically the Game of Life, but the game was really good? No offense, Game of Life. We played Game of Life actually in the first lockdown on what's it called? Tabletop Simulator. I think it was American Game of Life as well. Not that it makes too much difference. It's very similar to the original one here. It was it was a bit painful at times to play. Payday. Now that's a childhood game that holds up. But yeah, you're making your life. You're getting hobbies. You're getting into relationships. You're going through your life and trying to get the most happiness. Since I did this playthrough, I think I did like a solo playthrough with my maybe first edition of the game. I don't know if the second edition had even come out yet. I think I got an upgrade pack because I've still got the old original box. I think all the contents got replaced, but I've got the old box still. I know that like expansions have come out. I have got at least a couple of expansions. I think most of them. And I know a big box is kind of on the horizon still. It got kickstarted and everything. It hasn't arrived yet, right? Yeah, I haven't got that to show off. But we could do a new Pursuit of Happiness with expansions and all sorts plugged in. This has been one where I've been... it's on the verge of being put into the gaming bag and see if our friends would like to play it. I don't know. Good Game of Life. Yeah, Subdivision as well. Like I don't know that it's really had that much attention for years as well, because Suburbia, of course, has got its, you know, that deluxe edition that's wonderful, and then the kind of original Suburbia has now kind of been released separately with the new visual style and stuff. And I don't know that anything will happen to Subdivision again, but I'd like it to. But yeah, Pursuit of Happiness is great. I would like to go back to that. Let's play through number 9. A lot from the first 10, I realise. The next 2 come as a package deal in the vote. Fuse. One of my favourite games. This is in my top 10, right? I haven't made a top 50 for about... It's getting on for 3 years now. But when I did one, it was in my top 10. It's probably our most played game ever. And we played through a campaign of Gloomhaven, pretty much. It is a 10-minute real-time dice game where you have cards that represent bombs that want certain colours, certain numbers. You know, this die needs to equal this die. All sorts of different bombs in various difficulties and point values and stuff. And you have 10 minutes. It's cooperative to decide. We've drawn these dice from our bag. We've rolled them. Who gets what? Because we need to decide that as quickly as possible so we can start pulling more dice and rolling them. But if you can't place dice, then you have to lose dice off your cards. So you want to coordinate as best as you can so that you're using all of the dice and clearing through this cards. We played this so much, so kind of relentlessly. We got to play in it on the hardest difficulty, and a mode where I think you normally win when the pile of cards has gone, but you can play in a harder mode where you have to do absolutely every bomb. We got to the point where we were playing it so much, and we managed to do it kind of consistently on that hardest difficulty in the harder mode, which we don't generally do with games, especially now that we don't go back to games as much. A new version of Fuse is coming out. It's a standalone expansion. I'm so excited about this, but yeah, it's the perfect time, right, to go back to Fuse. And I think I did a solo playthrough originally. I would love this to be a stream with Rach, because then, if you vote for Fuse, you also get Flatline, which is thematically a sequel to Fuse. This is a bigger board game, still real-time dice chucking, but now we have the fallout from, we were on a spaceship and we found a load of bombs in Fuse that we need to defuse. In Flatline, we did the best we could. Some people have got injured though, and we are in the medical department of the ship trying to heal up all of the patients. It's absolutely fantastic. Fuse still kind of takes the cake and sits on that pedestal, and part of the fact that we've played it so much is it's a 10-minute game. You can, if you are enjoying it and fancy setting it up again, it'll take you like a minute, and then you're just right back in there. Flatline is it's like an hour and 90 minutes, right? 25 to 45 minutes. I'm overestimating. But yeah, would you like to see Fuse and Flatline? Space Alert we haven't played for years and years. I think Space Alert's thing for us was we never got. I think we started playing through tutorials 4-player at one point because our friend bought it. But when we had Space Alert, it was tougher doing all of the things as 2 players. I think, like you've got different stations, right? That it seems like it's more suited for 4 players, and when it's 2, that you're just kind of taking on more tasks. Am I remembering that right? Some of these things have been shocking a long time ago. But yeah, Fuse was number 14. Flatline was playthrough 99. Next up is Scythe. So Scythe is playthrough 24, by the way. This one I hastily made when I was trying to... I used to do 2 playthroughs a week and have them every Wednesday and Sunday. And yeah, this is when I was working full-time, so it was really hard... well, I'm still kind of working full-time, but between 2 jobs. I had a full-time job and I was making these videos. So yeah, Scythe was kind of made with a load of other videos I was going on holiday, going to America for the very first time, and playthroughs needed to keep coming. So I made one for Scythe that I had been playing loads solo. And still to this day, this comes up most months in my top 10 most viewed videos, and you can get corrected in the comments and stuff, but I made some mistakes about how things move and stuff. Scythe got loads of expansions. I never played any of that extra stuff, partly because things moved on and I had a million games that I needed to do, but also like multiplayer-wise, even though the combat is very well kind of tuned, so there's this kind of tenseness that goes through it, whereas if you attack a player, you leave yourself often in a very vulnerable position that you will get attacked yourself. So you have to really, you can't just go around attacking willy-nilly. You have to really make sure that you're going to do well in it and you're not going to leave yourself really open to other players. It works very well, but still in our conflict aversion, not for us. So I didn't keep it as just a solo thing, but I'll say that like it still comes up as partly because Scythe is such a popular game, right? But yeah, it still comes up as a really watched and commented video. Nearly 6 years later, I will get Scythe again, and I will get some kind of expansion. There was like a story expansion, right? I haven't played any of the extra stuff. I'll need guidance on what I should get. But if you vote for Scythe, I will get it back. I will get some more stuff in it, and we'll play through it again. Next up, and I'm worried about the time that would take in the time we have. I'm even more worried, time-wise, about the next one, The Colonists. Number 50. Someone commented on the Colonists video the other day, actually, on Board Game Geek. That's the first thing they watched me do. It's so long ago. But yeah, this game, like 30 to 360 minutes, this is an epic generation-spanning resource management game. There are 4 eras. You can kind of fast forward and start in any era. The kind of most fulfilling way to play it, we found, is to start right from the beginning, right from the most basic section, and play through the entire game. It was often like you would play a couple of eras and then leave it set up for in a few days' time when we would play through the other 2 areas. It's a really, really long game. So in addition to, there's loads of things to play and film these days. Colonists takes hours and hours if we play it like we really enjoyed playing it. So while we still have it, I haven't played it for 5 years or so. So yeah, I would love to go back to it. But in that kind of way, it's a heavy game as well. But in that kind of way where, oh, if that gets a load of votes, is that going to be the only video that happens in April? But hey, I'll see what you want. Next up, Vinhos Deluxe Edition, number 67. I went back, I think, to most Vital Lacerda games last year. You know, On Mars got its expansion, so with a prototype I did an On Mars playthrough. Escape Plan, I got the final version for the first time, and I think the Gallerist and Kanban EV came out, and yeah, a lot of Vital Lacerda got played last year. I think CO2 didn't get replayed, but definitely not Vinhos, and I haven't played Vinhos for quite a while now, partly because Rach isn't really a fan of a lot of Vital's games. I love them. She really likes Kanban. Particularly Vinhos. Partly, I think, from bad experiences kind of earlier on in our kind of board gaming lives, playing the original Vinhos, which is a much heavier game. Possibly, I don't know if it's heavier than On Mars. On Mars is kind of on a level of its own, isn't it? But yeah, Vinhos 2016 edition got, I don't want to say simplified like in a bad way. It got streamlined. Some things got stripped out, including a bank, which is like all your earnings went to a bank and you had to take actions to draw things out of there. It worked really well. But the 2016 vintage got refined. It got a solo mode added. I think, was it the first of Vitals to... Was this the first deluxe edition? I can't remember time now. But yeah, would you like to see me go back to some winemaking and carry on completing the Vital Lacerda Revisit series? Next up, and this will probably be a race stream as well. Actually, the next playthrough, number 68, Mechs versus Minions. I was in Essen, you know, texting Rach to hope that she could get a pre-order in when it was really limited, when like Riot Games, who make League of Legends, just decided we're going to make a board game and we're going to make it ridiculously high quality components and make a really satisfying cooperative programming game. And then just... We will never do anything else for it again, which, you know, never say never. Come on, Riot. It's been 6 years. Let's have an expansion. Let's have another game. Let's have more Mechs versus Minions. Yeah, you've got your characters are in Mechs. You're at school basically, trying to learn how to control these Mechs, and through a variety of scenarios, you will draft cards and place them into your mech, and your mech will carry out those cards. So whether it's what you want them to do or not, they are going to move that many spaces forward, fire in this direction, do all of this stuff while you try and take out the minions. It's not always the goal. It's kind of a campaign as well. It's a resettable campaign, but you play through mission by mission, opening envelopes and stuff. It's great. I think I did the first mission right in a playthrough. Yeah, Mechs vs Minions is great. Hi, Sam. Wayfarers of the South Tigris did get mentioned. No vote required for anything that I'm doing for Kickstarter Game Founder stuff. Doesn't need to be in the vote. That's getting done. If I'm getting sent the game for that, it's getting done. I haven't... the prototype hasn't arrived yet, and I haven't played it. I've got nothing to reveal, but a copy is on my way, or will be on my way, so can't wait for that. So they are... The vote still continues, by the way. Put a lot of options in it this time. I hope I haven't done too many. They were ones from kind of the first 100 playthroughs that I did that still haven't played for ages, haven't done a video for ages. So they're in there, those 11. And I've also done a few more games that we've had for years, really enjoyed, haven't played for ages, but never got a playthrough for various reasons, and see if you want to see those as well. Hi, Jacob. Seize the Bean. I still haven't got a copy. I have messaged Quality Beast just to, cause like, I don't want to be a bother about getting stuff, but yeah, I haven't had a reply yet, but hopefully, I would love to be doing Seize the Bean, especially in special anniversary month. Yeah, I'm still ultra excited for it, and whenever it gets here, it's going to be top of my list, but I don't have a copy yet. So yes, the games that never were. Forge War. This is Isaac Childress's pre-Gloomhaven game, and it's not thematically related, but it's kind of a load of games in one. The images just don't really show the board and stuff. There's a kind of mining mini game that you play at the start of every round to get resources. You take on quests. You play the role of people that organize parties of adventurers. You are the masters, sending them out on quests and equipping them with things. So you're getting recipes for weapons and armor and stuff, getting the materials to make those things, and then send them on these quests to try and earn money and points. It's another kind of similar to Colonists. When you play it in its kind of best way, there are fast forward variants and stuff, but in the way that we enjoyed the most, its full kind of play it in one great big session is so satisfying. The kind of evolution and the ramping up of everything through the different eras worked so well. I actually started doing a playthrough of this just before, like, in my really massive excitement for Gloomhaven arriving. When was that? Like February 2017? So that's over 5 years ago now. I played through about an hour and a half of it, and in the solo game is very harsh, and I think we'd have to kind of lift this restriction to get a full playthrough for. If you ever can't take on a new quest every round, I think I'm right in saying this, if you can't take a new quest every round, you lose the solo game. And it's a difficult, heavy, long game anyway. So, like, I lost at some point. Like, I'd played the game for quite a while, but for some reason, I thought, well, that's no good. I'm going to have to start again another day, and so I can do it's not worth doing a playthrough if I can't get through the whole thing. What was I thinking? And I deleted it. Like, I really wish I hadn't done that, because we could have had something up for Forge War 5 years ago. But yeah, for whatever reason, it had to be perfect or not at all. It's probably not going to be perfect if I'm revisiting it for the first time in many years. It's another one, as I was saying, like the Colonists, that due to the time, it's 3 hours is probably being a little bit conservative with the full the whole is it 3 years of it? Yeah, well, I'd love to do something for Forge War. It never got its due. Would you like to see it get its due? The Prodigals Club, following on from Last Will, finally getting its votes. Vladimir Suchy, who now, designs the underwater cities, the Praga Caput Regnis of the world. When he was designing games for CGE, he designed some amazing ones that I've done playthroughs for at this point. Haven't done one for the Prodigals Club. Thematically kind of similar to Last Will. All these riches doing things to get rid of their reputations and money. Rather than just getting rid of our money like in Last Will, there are different kind of areas that you plug into the Prodigals Club, so you can kind of play with different modules every time. As well as that of the Prodigals Club existing as its own thing with these modules, I'd want to do a playthrough for that. But if we can do that, if that gets enough love, I would like in the future to do the mode that we never tried, because I suppose Rach doesn't particularly like Last Will very much, and therefore the Prodigals Club, which is kind of similar. You can, instead of using all of the modules of the Prodigals Club, you can take Last Will, the game Last Will, and plug it in to the Prodigals Club somehow to make a kind of Megazord Vladimir Suchy board game. Would you like to see some Prodigals Club? Gold West, I was sure I'd done a playthrough for, but apparently I never did. It's a fantastic kind of... It's got a Mancala, you are spreading out in the Old West, mining for gold, flipping over these places, laying claim to the land, had a feeling of a Stefan Feld game, while being its own thing, of course. I mean, that's in a very complimentary way, because Stefan Feld games are great. Apparently, we never played it. I bought this when we were on holiday in America for the very first time. Little facts. On the subject of games that feel like Stefan Feld games, Burano. I was sure I did a playthrough for this, but apparently I haven't. Yeah, this is... Well, I don't know, like, one particularly to relate to, but the kind of core action selection is you get these cubes that are basically actions you are taking, but you place them in this central communal island, and you want to place down roofs on there to get bonus actions. It's a really cool action selection thing, and aside from that, there are a load of kind of disparate point salad-y mini games going on where you're trying to get your workers out into you're trying to send them out as sailors, you're trying to send them out making these materials, you're trying to fulfill quests, you're sending things out on ships, a little bit similar to how some things work in Trajan. Yeah, it's a kind of another thing that's like, it's great as its own thing, but I wonder if Burano might be a bit of a underrated gem as well. I don't know. I have been twice to the United States in my life, and both times I've actually been to Orlando. I really like Orlando. We would love to go back. I don't know if that's feasible, like, anytime soon, but yeah. As much as there are places, you know, almost the entire world remains unexplored to me. I really, really love theme parks. I'd never, aside from kind of Alton Towers, I'd never been to a kind of big proper theme park before Rach kind of, I wouldn't say cajoled, but definitely said, like, we're going to Florida at this time, and you're coming. I'm really glad she did, because I loved it there. And yeah, well, we definitely had an excursion. On both the times we've been, we had a little excursion to board game shops, looking for things. Burano, though, was an Essen release one year, right? Peloponnes. I've still never done a playthrough for this. And it's maybe the best auction game that there is. It's got tons and tons of mini expansions. I don't know what we would include for a kind of playthrough of this. It is probably my favourite auction game, and I think the best two-player auction game, in that the way the auctions, you're buying kind of land tiles and buildings to make your empire. There's a nice point system where you've got to balance your points out. Your lowest of a variety of scores are your final score, so you can't just do really well at one thing. But the core auction mechanism is you get one bid to put out. So, like, there is a minimum price for various tiles. So if you want to bid for a certain one that's got a 3 on it, you have to bid at least 3. But that's it. You don't get another say in that. So if you bid 3 for that 3 tile, I can come in with 4 for it. You take your 3 back and you can put it on something else, or you get your money back and you don't get a tile this turn. You get a little incentive, you get a bit of money to kind of maybe put you in a stronger position next round. But you have to really be like, if you really want that tile, sure, the minimum's 3, but how much are you going to bid for it now? Because you've got one say in it. And of course, there's the tension of am I paying too much for this? Do the other players even care about getting this tile? Can they see now that I've put a load of money on it, and now they're going to put more on it because of that? Oh, it's so fantastic. And yeah, another one that never got a playthrough, and I haven't played for ages now. Zhanguo. I think, like, yeah, there's things about, like, Kickstarters and stuff for revised editions of things that are on hold, but Zhanguo from What's Your Game, such a fantastic meaty Euro game. It's from Marco Canetta and Stefania Niccolini, who they've designed many things, but particularly Railroad Revolution and Railroad Evolution, also from What's Your Game. This is a heavier game than that. I always scroll down to the weight rating, like, really kind of identify it. It's the unification of China game thematically, right? But the kind of central thing that, and it's been a few years since I've played this. The central thing on your player board is you have all of these cards with various numbers. Playing numbers higher or lower than the previous card that was played by the last player will give you different benefits. But your core kind of snag in your thinking is you can play cards to take actions, and of course that's what you want to do. You want to make progress in the game. You want to take actions. But you can play cards under your player board instead, giving you no progress right now. But when you play a card to that slot in the future, you will get all of these other benefits as well. So there is a really beautiful balance in deciding how much of this building up and getting these bonuses can I afford to do. And it's, judging based on what the other players are doing as well. How much of that can I afford to do rather than going out and actually doing actions and building walls and things? Yeah, it's another one that I've got amazing memories of. It's probably been 4+ years since I've played it. Still massively hanging on to it. Yes, I think, is it with it's Madeira, right? That's another one I haven't played for ages, but we did get rid of Madeira because it was too heavy for us. I would like to play it again and see if that would still be the case. But yeah, I think that there's some kind of issue with that Kickstarter. I've got no idea and no insider info in that. I know once upon a time there was going to be an expansion for Zhanguo. I still hope there will be, and hope all these things get sorted out, because even the best of projects have had the biggest of companies, have had issues in the last couple of years, as you might expect, with Kickstarters and getting things made and shipped and stuff. So yeah, I hope whatever is going on, things all work out. And finally, I won't keep this vote going on forever. Among the Stars, another one. This is another one from Artipia. I don't think I might get a sudden shock that I haven't searched properly and I have to do a playthrough for one or more of these things. I did do a playthrough for Fields of Green, which is it says right there, re-implemented by Fields of Green. This is Fields of Green, the original space version. Rather than building up fields and stuff, we are building space stations. It's a not tiling, it's card laying game. It's card drafting like Seven Wonders, and you are drafting rooms for your space station. There's a fuel requirement. You've got to, cards that require fuel need to go next to rooms that provide fuel. It can only go a certain distance. Certain cards want to be next to other cards. They've all got little scoring things on the bottom of them. So many expansions, so many extra things that make every game really, really varied. Another great big plus point. I don't know if you haven't seen it, Rach did a top 10 once upon a time, It was a few years ago now, so there's a good chance that you might not have seen it. I'm pretty sure that Among the Stars is in there. I really enjoy Among the Stars. I love Among the Stars. It's one of Rach's favourite games. And having said that, we probably haven't played it for a couple of years. But yeah, it's another one where it got Fields of Green, which is very similar gameplay-wise. I think there's something about that spaceship theming, because Rage wasn't really that into Fields of Green, whereas it's a very similar game. Among the Stars, though, absolutely loves. Augustus, Rach adores. But Via Magica, almost the same game, a few different tweaks, a different theme. Rach not really that bothered about. So yeah, theme, important in board games sometimes, right? Who knew? But yeah, Among the Stars, I would still say, is absolutely fantastic. When's it from? 2012. Let's do something for Among the Stars' 10th anniversary, everyone. That's why it's in the vote. I think, I've got a feeling that we've got most Among the Stars stuff. It's little it's right here as well. Its little flimsy box is to the point of bursting, that it's full of stuff, because I got all the expansions and we backed Kickstarters and stuff way back when to get there's pencil cases with components and things in there. I don't know if this is actually doing anything to help or hurt the votes that Among the Stars might get. Look at all of these cubes and things. Yeah, if you would like to see some Among the Stars, I'm not sure, but I would hope that Rach would be pretty keen on doing a live stream of that. So there we go. They are all the options for the vote. I will be making that post very shortly when I have finished the stream and putting all the links in the description for this and stuff. If you would like to vote and have a say in what you would like to come up in April, patreon.com, still haven't managed it, have I? Patreon.com/slickerdrips if you would like to vote, but mainly, you know, have me here doing this stuff, like give me more time to make more of the things. And yeah, the more time that's spent. As I'm remembering with editing more videos in the last month, it takes so much time to edit them, but I think they come out really well as well. So do the live ones, but hey. Yes, your support would be massively appreciated. All of this is only possible thanks to the support of all of the patrons. I'm gonna make that post very soon. Thanks everyone for being here. All right, it's a personal issue with the Madeira Kickstarter. Oh no, well yeah, I haven't seen any of that stuff. Really sorry to hear of it. Like, just generally, projects getting held up is like, it's always kind of hard seeing anyone struggle, but also like people are frustrated. Like, some people don't want to wait and stuff. Like Seize the Bean took years and years to get made. It did come out eventually, and it was like, it was a shame in the interim time seeing posts every now and then of just, why is this not done yet? I've had Kickstarters come in the meantime, and just like, I'm sure, you know, just believe in them. They're making the thing. They are trying their best. Things come up in anything, right? Yeah, and Seize the Bean got there, and as far as I know, has been really well received, right, by people that have got their final version. And I would hope that that's going to be the case for Madeira eventually. But yeah, I don't know well, not even the ins and outs. I don't know any details about it, unfortunately. But we will be doing some games, right? I'm interested to see what you vote for, because I really enjoyed going back through that list and having a look at some old things I'd like to revisit, as well as looking around the rooms, because I'm always like putting new things in the votes, like where, like I want to be doing the new things and showing the new things off, and hoping to reach new people and stuff. But equally, you know, all these games that I had years ago that have just kind of, look at Peloponnes, it's there. I could have pointed it out on the shelf. There it is. All these things that kind of like, I'm just used to them always being around here. Some of them might not have gotten attention in the last few years and may not be on your radar. And I'd love to change that with a good playthrough. But we'll see what gets voted for. Thank you everyone for being here. Oh, Jacob, you got Seize the Bean and it's great. I'm really glad to hear that. Because yeah, like, that way with everything that I do a video for, Kickstarter wise, I want them to succeed and do well, and for the thing to be great. But yeah, Seize the Bean's always stuck in my mind, in particular, as being one that we really enjoyed and had to send the prototype on, so we haven't played it since that playthrough all those years ago, because yeah, haven't got it. But hopefully that will change very, very soon. The vote will be coming up on Patreon in the next half an hour or so, probably less than that. I'm going to write it now. Thank you very much for being here, everyone. I will be back at 3 p.m. BST, GMT plus 1, for Concordia Digital with Paul Grogan. And yeah, we are going to be, I don't know what maps, I don't know what details we're going to be doing. We're going to be playing some Concordia, though, together. And it's been a while since we've done a stream, right? So that should be great. And we will be here on Friday. Rach and I will be playing Stardew Valley at 5 p.m. BST if you'd like to see any of that stuff. And in the meantime, I will be busily editing and filming new things, trying to get stuff ready. Hey, Matt, I usually can't watch live stuff. You come right at the end, but hey, you can skip back and have a look at some of this hopeful anniversary stuff. Thank you everyone for being here. I'll see you Thursday or Friday for some more stuff, or maybe before that for videos going up on Patreon. You can see Autobahn now. You can see Founders of Teotihuacan now on Patreon. But yes, thank you for being here, everyone. I'm just going to keep going around in a circle and never actually ending the video, hoping that Marty will arrive. I'll need a new layout for Marty's current determination to never be in his seat. Although, having said that, there he is. Hi, Marty. Have you got anything to say to everyone? Have you got any kind of apology to make for refusing to be on the video? No. Just look annoyed. Well, that's good enough. You've kind of... That's 2 times you've kind of been on camera now, I suppose. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Marty, for gracing us with your presence. A tiny bit, at least. And I'll see you very soon. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye. Bye.